All right, AGS1. We've reached the end of Mod 9, which is our statistics unit. So we're going to talk today about closure notes, which means anything that could come up on the test next class. So the first thing we did in this unit is we did some sort of basic mean, median, mode, and range. So given a set of numbers, you guys should be able to find those. Remember, for the median, you got to put them in order. The mean is just the average of adding them all together and dividing by how many there are. And then the mode is the one that occurs most frequently. And then the range is the biggest minus the smallest. The next thing we did is we talked about making box plots. Now, to make a box plot, you need the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary is the minimum value, the maximum value, the median, and then the lower and upper quartile. Remember that the lower quartile is just like the median of the lower half, and the upper quartile is the median of the upper half. Remember, it's all about whether or not you have like an odd or an even data set. If it's odd, then the very middle number is just a number from the data set, but if it's even, it's the average of the two middle numbers. We also looked at histograms. First of all, how to build them by creating 4 to 8 class intervals and sorting your data into those class intervals. Remember, histograms are for continuous data, which means there's no gap between the bars. We also talked about some words to describe histograms. Uniform was a histogram was totally flat. Unimodal was when there's one mode, one highest peak in the graph. We also talked about when it's skewed left and skewed right. Remember, those are kind of backwards how you think they should go. Like a skewed to the right will look like this, and skewed left looks like this. Know how to check for outliers. So have these formulas written down in your notes. Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR is the upper bound, and Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR is our lower bound. Any data set that is above the upper or below the lower is considered an outlier in the data. We also looked at two-way tables, how to create them with totals, and also how to turn some certain spots into percentages with respect to certain things. So we did conditional row percentages, we did relative column percentages, and we did percentages that were relative to the whole table. We also did a really quick example of a dot plot, but a dot plot is basically a histogram for discrete data, where it's just, shows how tall it is or it shows the frequency by how many dots are on top of each score, each number. The last thing we did was correlation. Correlation was with X's and Y's, and we learned how to describe the strength of correlation. Remember, the more clustered to a line it is, the stronger it is. But we also talked about whether or not it was going uphill or downhill. Uphill scatter plots have a positive correlation. Downhill scatter plots have a negative correlation. On the test, there might be some matching of scatter plots to our values. Please know that we wouldn't make it too ambiguous where you would need to know the difference between a negative 0.4 and a negative 0.6 or something like that. But just know how to match negative to positive and pretty weak to strong with both of those. All right, you guys, that's all we got for Chapter 9. Good luck with the review today. Please ask me questions in class.